Alright everyone, good evening and welcome back to more Tsukihime. Let's continue. It's almost like they aren't meant to prevent intrusion from outside, but escape from within. Perhaps I'm overthinking it, but maybe they're simply there to provide protection from the sun. Anyway, there's something else in my mind.
綺麗すぎないか、ここ。
It's certainly dusty, but the disturbing sights and pungent smells I expected are conspicuously absent. This isn't a vampire's lair, it's just a floor under renovation. It contains hide nor hair of the horrors I encountered in the hotel.
9階も綺麗なもんだ。アルクエイドのやつ、何か勘違いしたのかな。
My taut nerves finally start to relax. I climb the stairs to the 10th floor, blissfully ignorant of the dangers of complacency, and freeze.
どこの誰だよてめえ。何勝手に人ん家に上がってるんですか?
The voice instantly puts me on guard. Two people holding flashlights are standing across the landing at the top of the stairs. I squint into the light. They're both male, neither much older than me. I don't see any bats, pipes, or other weapons on them. The flashlights seem to be all they have.
おーい、何黙ってるんですか？悪いことしてる自覚あるんですか？なにこいつダサくね？見るからにビビってね？俺たちと人種違いすぎね？なあトシ、このメガネ君は知り合いですか？
いや知らない知らない。こんなオタクと知り合ってたら俺恥ずかしくて死んでるって。はい、そこの僕、こっち来てね。逃げたらひどい目に遭うからね。つうか殺すか。法律的に殺していいんだよな。不法侵入って。
The pair stay put, laughing, in front of what I now realize is an elevator. While they're warning me not to run, they don't seem to think there's any risk I'd actually try.
あれ？なんか反応薄い？逃げねえの？普通逃げるでしょ、このシチュー。トシ、こいつなんか怪しくね？
てめえの顔がくどすぎんだよ。メガネ君には刺激が強すぎるってもんだ。なあ、そうだよな。面食らってるだけだよな。なんで立ち入り禁止のフロアで遊んでるわけ?
Their eyes appear to flash dully in the dark. I'm not sure what to do. Should I run? Or should I see what I can coax from them? Is this even a vampire's lair at all? And are these two my ticket to finding out?
何これ？もしかしてボーナスタイムじゃね？なあトシ、アポのないやつは好きにしていいって話だよな、確か。
うるせえハル、1分だけ黙ってろ。でどうなのオタク、ただの物好きなわけ?
I think back over everything I've learned, putting the pieces into place. Then, putting on my most hesitant voice, I ask.
すみません。ここでアルバイトができると聞いたんですけど。
I gauge the reactions carefully, particularly the expression of the one called Toshi.
アルバイトね。どこでその話を？最近はバカな女連中にしか話してねえんだけどな。
人づてに知ったんです。北口のアパートで一晩過ごせば大金がもらえるって。
なんだそれ。てめえ本気で言ってん？
いいじゃんよトシ、多い分にはいいんだからさ。つーかほら、こいつのダッセー服、宗谷の制服じゃん。さっき捕まえた女と同じ交渉だし、仲間じゃねえのかな。
Oh man, could this be... Did they get Satsuki? With effort, I managed to keep my cool. That girl must be someone else who came through here, and recently, by the sounds of it.
確かに頭の緩そうな女だったしな。ええぜ、アルバイトだろ。連れて行ってやるよ。
勇敢な挑戦者1名様館内。
The one called Haru presses the elevator button. A mechanical whirring echoes in the darkness. The elevator at least has power.
ほら、入りな。
I obey. The two men follow me and press the button marked B1.
どこに？
地下だよ、地下。ビーチって見えねえか。そこで一晩過ごしてくれればいい。戻ってきたら乗客の仲間入りだ。丁重に扱ってよ。
そうそう、すごく簡単でちゅからね。時間を潰せばいいだけ。何にも怖いことはありません。
Haru doubles over with laughter. The elevator ride takes an oddly long time. It feels like it takes us about 4 floors underground before it stops. The doors hiss open, bathing me in a harsh light. The glare is too bright to see what lies beyond. All I can process is an unidentifiable stench. I peer into the brightness, reflexively covering my nose.
はーい、餌1匹追加でーす。面白おかしく食べられちゃってくださいね。
And a boot to the back propels me out of the elevator car. Suddenly, I'm weightless. The drop is much longer than a couple of meters I expect. Did they stop the elevator in midair? I land in a pool of water beneath the elevator. I must have fallen about 5 meters. As my face breaches the water's surface, I see the elevator still hovering overhead. Haru, the one who kicked me out, leers down at me.
あいつ。
First things first, I make for the edge of the pool. The water is viscous and cloudy. Just being in it could be dangerous. I swim the 10 or so meters to the bank and haul myself out. My mind and body are both reeling. I look around, my shoulders heaving as I gasp for air. That damn light's so bright I can hardly make anything out. All I can tell is that I'm in a relatively open space with smaller paths branching off in all directions. The ground beneath my feet feels like stone. And then there's the smell. The stench of rotting flesh, of stagnant water, of urine, of feces. The reek of an underground reservoir gone hopelessly foul. Well, I don't like the sound of that. I look up for the start of the sound of rushing air. I know what I just heard. Next comes the scraping of approaching footsteps. I look around, shielding my eyes from the light and sea. Figures that I can only describe as corpses shuffling into view. Their eyes are bloodshot. Their muscles slough from their bones. Their clothes hang in tatters. A weak noise spills from their mouths, neither a sob nor a scream. They look exactly like zombies I encountered in the alley. Except they aren't. My blood runs cold. That's when I see what is coming in their wake. Only then do I understand which is alive and which is truly dead. My warning would come far too late. They're all the way on the other side of the pool. I'm in no shape to swim that far in the few seconds I have. No! A desperate scream cuts through the silence. A human scream. The scream of someone dropped down here, just as I was, left to rot for days on end. The lights and sounds of the elevator have drawn them here in search of help, like moths to a flame, like lambs to the slaughter.
うひゅー、すげえ。クソども生きてますか？生きてますね。すげえ何あれ最高。頭悪すぎて笑い止まんないんですけど。
Laughter rings out from inside the elevator. My head feels like it's about to split in two. Bile rises in my throat. The footsteps shuffle closer. My instinct screamed that if I stay here, I'll suffer the same fate. Terror spurs me into a run. The elevator suspended 5 meters above the ground might be my only way out, but staying here is too dangerous right now. I dive blindly into the darkness of the nearest passageway. My heart cries out that it can't run any further. I slump to my knees. My legs feel like they're about to fall off. I rest my back against a slatted wall. Tilting my head back, I breathe cool air into and out of my burning lungs. Finally, I start to regain my senses. If I were you, man, I'd try to find a way out. This is insane. What the hell is this place? The stench of oil and flesh and blood hangs thick in the air. A glistening layer of animal fat coats the walls. The path slopes gently but inexorably down, as though leading to the bowels of hell. I strain my eyes against the darkness. What I've been resting against isn't a wall, but a sturdy iron grill. The bars of a prison cell. Turning my gaze from the empty passageway, I look inside the cell to see oversized maggots a meter long. The indistinguishable remains of a once living creatures lying scattered on the ground, their limbs torn off to prevent them from escaping. A violent nausea washes over me, like I've been struck in the head with a club. A burning lump rises in the back of my throat. I can't. They'll smell it. It'll attract them to me. I slam my head against the bars to reset my brain, but it's not enough. This place is too much. I can't stay here. I can't spend a moment longer looking at this nightmare. My reason, my sanity, perhaps my very being. Some fundamental part of me is about to break. I have to get out, as soon as I can. I'll go back to the elevator, sweet talk the guards somehow, convince them to take me back above ground. Yeah, I don't see that happening, bro. I smash my head against the bars once more, this time in anger. The pain helps me suppress my rational instincts. I feel sick. I feel sick. I feel sick. My own idiocy makes me want to vomit. I fight back the chill creeping up my spine with sheer scorn. I'm furious with myself. All this time I've been nothing but talk. I had all sorts of lofty ambitions, exterminate the vampire, save as many lives as possible, only to run away crying the moment I saw my enemy's true face. Out of contempt for my own weakness, I smash my fist against the bars. Go on. Take a good, hard look at your own rotten heart. You're driven by self-importance, not righteousness. You thought your mystic eyes made you invincible, and you called that arrogance resolve. The noise is guaranteed to attract their attention. Even so, I continue beating my fist against the metal. Dozens of lives burned to ash in the hotel. Me, the lone survivor. And my original sin at the root of it all. I was only trying to prove my usefulness so I could continue running from my guilt. Instead, I ignored Arcwade's warnings, letting overconfidence fool me to thinking I was something I'm not, and to thinking I could be helpful. I was a godforsaken child trying to purchase forgiveness by ingratiating myself with the person I had wronged. I bite back the howl of fury rising in my chest. I hold back the tears of shame welling in my eyes. This is the price of my own naive decisions. I overestimate my abilities, misjudge my own character, let my inflated ego lead me into a vampire's lair. Until I accept that, I can't move forward. It may just be forcing myself to put on a brave face, but I finally calm down.
そうだ。逃げ道はない。俺にはもう。
All I can do now is keep going. I look back inside the jail cell I'd been resting against. I stare at the walls packed tight with corpses. Naive though I might have been, I came here for a reason. Now I burned that reason into my brain.
ビビってる場合じゃない。そんなのは昨日の夜で終わっただろう。シキ。
So what if I'm a fraud? If I can't shake this feeling of survivor guilt, I'll just have to take it to the grave. If disgrace is the fuel I need to get myself out of this nightmare, I'll burn it to the last drop. That's all I have left to hold on to. I remold my hypocrisy into a facade of courage and take a firm step forward. I make my way down the hard stone passageway. My eyes have adjusted enough to the darkness to make out my surroundings. The floor gives off a faint luminescence. There are marks on the walls where torches have been placed. Whatever inhabits this place must light these corridors up after nightfall, although that isn't a particularly comforting thought. I was gonna say comforting. The passage goes on and on. While it looks straight at first glance, it actually curves gently to one side. Side passages branch off periodically between the cells. They all look identical, confusing my sense of direction. My only reliable guide is the shallow incline of the floor. As long as I keep heading downwards, I know I'm making progress.
この通路、何かの周りを回ってるのか?
It feels like an enormous spiral staircase, winding round and around some cylindrical space hidden on the other side of the wall. If the floor the elevator led to was B1, I must be several floors underground by now. I hear what sounds like wind, but there can't be any airflow down here. The murmur of a human voice, then, or, more likely, air expelled from a formerly human throat.
いる。この先にあの死人が。
I would suggest taking off the glasses right now, sir. I swallow hard. I take my knife out of my pocket with one hand, keeping the other on my glasses. Alright. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to run. Over and over, I tell myself the same thing. I know now how dangerous it is to face a vampire in open combat, but I have to press on anyway. I prepare to spur my petrified legs into motion when... I don't know whether I act on thought or on impulse. I only know that in that moment, my instincts win out over my fear. A shrill noise echoes from further down the corridor. A woman's scream. The floor is slippery with congealed grease. I burst from the narrow corridor into an open space. I glance around the room, quickly taking in its layout. A large chamber 6 meters across, just under 2 meters high. And there... Oh, Miss Noel. Backed up against a wall, a still living human surrounded by zombies. My brain struggles to process the information it's receiving. I know this woman, but there's no time to wonder why she's here. There's barely a meter separating the zombies, gnashing teeth, and Miss Noel. I can't stop. The zombies are clustered around her, their backs to me. 4 more meters, 2 more seconds until I reach them. I'm not gonna make it, am I? I tear off my glasses as I run. At the same time, I position my knife in front of my chest. Their lines to death are... there, on their necks. I have to kill them. That's the only way I can save her. It drops. My knife plummets through the air, changing course at the last moment. It slices not through the zombie's neck to end its undead life, but through a line along the arm it has extended towards Miss Noel. This is not a conscious decision. This is the reason of the human known as Shikitono taking command even after his thoughts are given out. How naive can I be? They're only zombies, so I'll have no problem killing them. I didn't have the first idea what I was talking about. Living undead, it doesn't make a difference. I'd still be killing something that looks human, that looks like me. I never realized that the notion would disgust me so deeply, so viscerally, to the point that my knife would falter.
嘘、四季君。
先生、こっち。
As the zombies turned towards me, I slipped past them and grabbed Miss Noel's arm. A hand stretches after us, grasping for its fleeing prey. My knife slides effortlessly along the line, right on its rotting skin.
今の何？ナイフで切ったの？っていうか君本当に四季君？夢じゃなくて？
いいからこっち。逃げます。
I dive into a nearby passageway, dragging Miss Noel by the hand.
追いかけてくれ！追いかけてくれ！
It's so funny because I already know what she's about. We all know. The zombies' footsteps echo behind us. I push myself harder, trying to outrun them. The urge to vomit assails me as I run. I desperately try to ignore the sensation lingering in my knife hand. If this is my reaction to severing a zombie's arm, cutting off a head would have left me paralyzed in shock.
もっと早く走って！追いつかれたら殺されるから！
って先生、暴れないで。あと黙って。声を立てると他のゾンビを呼び寄せる。
痛いもっと優しく握ってもっとしっかり握って引っ張ってもう走れない私もう走れない助けて
I will say, she's a good actress though. Miss Noel breaks down as we continue to run. Not that I can blame her. This nightmare would drive anyone half mad. How many times have I thought myself that it would be easier to give up and let it all be over? That said,
やだお家に帰るタクシー呼んでタクシーあとコンビニでプリン買って
you'd think an adult could do a better job at keeping it together.
ああ、もううるさい。後で買ってあげますから。今はこれで我慢して。
I pull her close and jam a finger into her mouth. I have to stop her from speaking somehow, and covering her mouth would make it hard for her to breathe. Naturally, she bites down hard. Her teeth stab into my finger near the first joint.
It's 叫びたいのはこっちです。とにかく走って。
Half carrying, half dragging a struggling Miss Noel, I duck into a side passage. I watch and wait, holding my breath. The footsteps pursuing us have died away. While these zombies can keep pace with a human, they aren't always so agile. They're fairly sluggish most of the time. They only speed up when they sense prey and their detection range seems small. I'd give it 10 meters at most. As to whether they rely on sight, hearing, or something else, they're the only ones who know, and they don't seem inclined to share.
もういいよ先生。ごめんな、乱暴だった。とりあえず落ち着いて。あいつらもういないみたいだから。
I remove my hand from Miss Noel's mouth and look around. I want nothing more than to find a corner to hide myself, but I stay calm to reassure her.
いない安全なのここ。
とりあえずはです。ここにいる限り安全はないと思います。俺も落とされたばっかりでわけがわからないけど。ってそうだ、先生はどうして。
Before I can finish my question, she slams me against the wall.
いやよ、どうして安全じゃないの？安全にしてよ。私は生徒指導に来ただけ。女の子限定の怪しいアルバイトだって聞いたらほっとけないでしょ。残業なんて柄じゃなかったけど、たまたま目の前でうちの子が連れて行かれちゃったら放っておけないじゃない。
先生、落ち着いて。静かに静かに。
ねえ、どうして？おかしすぎる。意味わかんない。どうしてデパートの地下にこんなところがあるの？
God damn, Miss Noel can commit.
おかしいおかしいおかしい。どうしてあなたはそんなに平気なのよ。
Her fist slammed against my chest with a thump. She stares at me wildly, tears streaming from her eyes.
それは
I came here knowing full well it was a vampire's lair, so...
ねえ、怖くないの？いっぱい死体の山。まっとうな人間なら正気でいられない。慣れることなんてできるはずがないじゃない。
Actually, miss, if you were here earlier, you would see he wasn't so blasé about it. In fact, he was nearly throwing up. My breath catches in my throat. Miss Noel may be in hysterics, but she pointed out my aberrance with chilling precision. This is a place that should not be. An ant nest of catacombs crawling with corpses come to life. Where the living are eaten alive. Where the dead are stacked into prison cells. Behold, this is hell. A darkness anathema to life. Human beings burdened with reason cannot hope to stay sane in such a place. Any normal person would go crazy down here, devolving into a gibbering wreck as mindless as the dead that roam its halls.
ほら、そうでしょ。私が普通なの、正しいの。ここで平気な人の方が初めからおかしいの。
Now you're kind of coming off crazy too, miss. Her eyes burn with hatred. For a hot second, I find myself agreeing, but another moment passes and I reconsider. Reconsider. She's wrong. I'm not sure how to express it, but she is. I can feel it.
違いますよ先生。確かに俺はちょっと事情が違うけど、先生はそこまでやけにならないでください。息を吸って落ち着いて。先生なら耐えられます。たとえここが地獄でも、先生みたいな真っ当な人間だから耐えられるんです。
At last, I put into words. This is why human beings have developed reason, to face horrors of reality. Our reason isn't meant to destroy us. It's our weapon when life forces us into battles too great for us, or so someone taught me a long time ago. How ironic. To be repeating advice that I couldn't follow myself.
だから大丈夫。落ち着いて、ノエル先生。
無理。私たちここで殺されるの。さっきはたまたま助かったけど、同じように殺されちゃう。
She continues to protest, but the hate has left her tear-filled eyes. Although she hasn't realized it herself yet, she's beginning to calm down.
じゃあそのたまたまを続けましょう。今は俺と先生2人もいるんです。助け合えばなんとか。
でも1人も2人も変わらないってば。だって私さっきまで2人だったんだから。
Is she trying to say she was here with someone else?
ちょっと待って。すみません、聞き忘れてました。そもそも先生はどうやってここに落とされたんですか？
それはうちの制服の女の子がニット帽子の2人組と話してて、デパートに入っていって立ち入り禁止の札を無視して8階に上がっていったから、何してるのって呼び止めたらエレベーターに入れられて。
Her story is almost the same as mine. The two men we encountered must be the vampire's henchmen, scouting out innocent people to send to their deaths.
それでおかしな広間に連れて行かれて、一緒にいた女の子がおとりになって私を逃がしてくれたの。そうだった。自分が捕まるから先生は逃げて助けを呼んでって。四季君どうしよう。私さっきまで怖くてあの子のことを忘れてた。
もう一人いたんですね。
My brain, which has been on cooldown ever since we got away, suddenly flips back to high alert.
それはいつ？
ほんのちょっと前。30分。1 どのくらい前だったかな。ごめんなさい、わかんない。
I rack my brain for all I'm worth. What should I do? What can I do? Why did I even come here in the first place?
その広場の場所は分かりますか？
四季君、何考えてるの？もしかして戻るの？下に。いや、ダメだってば、あのゾンビ10体や20体じゃなかったんだから。それよりもう間に合わないし、そもそも助ける算段とかあるの？
その子を助けられるかどうかは分かりません。でもまだ生きているのかだけは確かめないと。
I take a deep breath to steady my nerves. Then I pull away from Miss Noel and look down the gentle slope of the corridor. Down there, she said. There's a good chance that the chamber I'm looking for lies at the bottom of this passage.
行くの？私は行かない。行かないわよ。
ごめん先生、できればここで待っていてください。一緒に来るよりは危険は少ないです。
無責任。それ無責任よね。男の子なんだから私を守ってくれるんじゃないの？っていうか、私を助けに来てくれたんじゃないの？
It's funny how she's a teacher and she's saying this to him.
すみません、それがそうじゃないんです。これ使ってください。
I hand her my knife for protection. Truthfully, I doubt anyone but me could fend off a zombie with its modest blade, but it might give her some peace of mind.
ナイフ？これただのナイフ？でも四季君はどうするの？他に武器あるの？
なんとか見繕います。しばらく待っても戻ってこなかったら先生だけで逃げてください。
I pressed the handle of the knife into her hand and set off. I wish I could do more. That's all the help I can offer.
もう待って、行くから。私も行くから一人にしないで。そもそもこんなナイフ一本じゃ足りないし。はい、四季君にお返しします。
She's either a really good actress or she isn't an executor yet. But that makes no sense. At least to me, like when she was brought on into the school, it came off like she was already in the know, like she was already an executor. Huh. This is interesting. Miss Noel grabs my wrist, forcing the knife back into my grasp before wrapping herself firmly around my arm. Her message is clear. You're not getting rid of me that easily.
わかりました。正直言うと嬉しいです。先生がいてくれると俺もほっとします。あとはできるだけ音を立てないようにお願いします。
立てない。任せて。ちゃんとついていくから。
I squeeze Miss Noel's hand tightly. Now that I've gotten her involved, the least I can do is assuage her fears.
いいけど、四季君勇気あるのね。
ないです、全然。やばそうだったら逃げます。じゃあ行きます。足元気をつけて。
We proceed down the passage quickly but quietly. Part of me wants to sprint as fast as I can. That would only alert the zombies. Holding our breath, we descend into deeper darkness. Oh my god, they got her. They got CL? What I see before me almost defies belief. A 40-meter tall hollow beneath the earth. A floor carefully polished into a mirror sheen. A domed ceiling held aloft by a ring of pillars. Gray sunlight filters through an opening in the center of the roof, like Jacob's ladder descending through the clouds. and directly below, bathed in its sullen glow, is a bed of cold stone. A young girl lies motionless atop it. Surrounding her are countless zombies. A quick count suggests there are at least 30 gathered in the chamber. They shuffle to and fro around the bier. None of them appear to be getting too close to it. It must have some special significance to them.
生贄あれ生贄なの
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's a sacrificial altar, which is why they're not touching her. They're waiting for I'm assuming Vlad to be the one to take his first bite. Neither of us dare to enter the chamber. We stay hidden in the safety of the passageway, watching. The zombies are too preoccupied with the altar to notice us. This situation is a far cry from anything I was expecting, but at least that's one thing I can be grateful for.
あそこまで60メートル近くあるな。
The girl's too far away for me to make out her face, but I can tell she's alive. For one thing, there aren't any bloodstains on her uniform. She seems to have been laid unharmed upon the bier. If I had to guess, I'd say a feast is coming and she's the main dish.
ここまでね。あんなのどうやっても助けられない。戻りましょう、四季君。ここで逃げても誰も文句は言わないわ。
I think we're about to find out if Shiki can handle 30 zombies. I'd like to believe he could. I hear Miss Noel's voice come timidly from behind me. I grit my teeth at the inescapable reality of the situation. Every word of what Miss Noel is saying is correct. If I keep to the wall and stay out of the zombies' range, could I save her? But even if I get there, what then? Do I pick her up and run? All the way back here? That's practically impossible. I'm not superhuman. I need to be realistic about what I can manage.
でも
Would that really be impossible? I have a weapon. I can fight back. Is running away really all I'm capable of? What I'm trying to do is practically impossible, yes. But there's daylight between practically impossible and impossible. And even the smallest chance to save her life is still a chance.
ちょっと、四季君。
先生は通路の方に隠れて柱に隠れながらできるだけ近寄ります。
Play it smart, dude, yep.
やめなさいってば。真っ青な顔で震えながら何言っちゃってるの。
As I stare at the center of the chamber, I bury the hesitation I still feel. I didn't come here to risk my life saving this girl, or anyone at all. I came to this place to kill its vampire master and end his reign of terror. But I can't just leave someone to die. It's inconsistent. It's contradictory. Even my ideals are a half-baked mess. But so what?
そりゃ怖いです。でも今はこれが正しいに決まってる。
I'm gonna save a human being by killing something that looks like one. I know that I'm still deluding myself, that I just want to prove my usefulness, that this is nothing more than an excuse to flee from my guilt. In all of this, I've seen enough that I can no longer deny my own failings. But I still want to do what I can. If I turn tail now, I'll be nothing more than a murderer, a wretched being incapable of atonement. I remove my glasses and fix my gaze on the death scrawled across the zombie's skin. Agony lances through my skull like a hairline fracture. With a deep breath, I suppress the pain and make for the nearest pillar.
ごめんなさい。私ったら松明倒しちゃった。
Man, I really want to believe she did that on purpose. In a split second, I make my decision. As the clatter rings out across the chamber, I break into a sprint. I have to take out my immediate obstacles before the zombies turn around and discover the source of the noise, and us. I have no other choice. Using the pills as a cover won't work anymore. Now that they know we're here, my best chance is to make a beeline for the altar. I reach the finish line of my headlong dash. I lean against the altar, gasping for breath. My clear and conscious acts of murder make my stomach turn, but I swallow back the nausea. I hold my knife, the knife which I just severed multiple lives in a reverse grip. A chorus of moans rises behind me as the zombies finally detect the intruder. There's no time to look back. I gently lift the schoolgirl whose face I don't recognize up into a sitting position. I don't like the idea of slapping her, but I can't wake her up somehow. Neither of us is getting out of it.
起きてます私。
はい。
A surprised yelp escapes my mouth. Apparently, this girl has been conscious the whole time.
いや君大丈夫か。
Oh, you're not CL.
大丈夫ですけど。なんで来ちゃったんですか。
Her voice falters as she looks up at me with uncertain eyes. There's no time for explanations.
立てるか。こっち。
I take her hand and help her to her feet. Good. It looks like she can walk. The only problem now is breaking through the blockade of zombies around us. For now, they seem content to watch us, keeping their distance from the altar. Oh, dude, don't tell me she turned. Well, how long would that last? We can't stay here forever. I'll have to create an opening big enough for the both of us. And the only way to do that is to take the initiative.
もう予定とは違う展開だけど仕方ないわね。
Oh, okay, so she was acting. Okay, I figured. She is too damn good at it, though.
私も我慢の限界よ。
A sickening thud echoes across the chamber. A body sails skyward like a carelessly thrown garbage bag. I briefly register it as one of the zombies by the entrance.
ノエル先生。
Before the sight of the woman I thought was my teacher steals my attention.
おとなしく潜入捜査やってれば調子に乗ってくれちゃって。っていうか1回転程度の雑魚が私のお気に入りに手を出すなんて言語道断。見てて四季君、スーパー懺悔タイムの始まりだから。
Her long-handed weapon roars through the air, generating a great gust of wind. With her teacher's clothes somehow having transformed into a nun's habit, Miss Noel sets about laying waste to the horde of zombies. I stand slack-jawed. She leaves a trail of gore in her wake as she dances from foe to foe. With a gleeful smile with shining eyes, with a skirt of her habit flaring as she twirls, her every movement is a performance for my benefit. She even finds the time to blow me kisses, but it'd kill her to act her age. But her valiant, or perhaps just attention-seeking efforts draw the zombie's attention away from the altar.
ほら、四季君こっちこっち。先生の後ろに隠れてて。
Miss Noel continues her rampage, undeterred by the gathering zombies. She makes her way to the altar, pulverizing dead bodies left and right. Her weapon is a steel spear, almost 2 meters in length. The business end terminates with a double-edged blade like the head of a battle axe. I know what this is. A halberd.
汚い。血と油でべったりね。フレッシュゾンビってこれだから人気がないのよ。やっぱり蹴散らすならカラカラなるスケルトンが最高よね。
She cleans the gore off her weapon with a dismissive flick. It must really be the metal it looks like. Even at a glance, I can tell that it's far too heavy for her slender arms.
いや先生一体何者ですか。
いいじゃない細かいことは。今は先生に甘えちゃって。私こう見えて結構強いんだから。
With an almost liberated glee, she plunges back into the fray. Flesh tears, limbs fly. The zombies who flee are met with crushing iron. The zombies who advance are skewered with a needle-like blades. Even with the living dead all around us, the sight of Miss Noel strikes me as the most abnormal thing of all.
シスターは趣味じゃなかったんですか。
趣味でやってるのは先生の方なの。いいからそこにいて。サクッとお掃除を済ませちゃうわ。
I yell after her, but to no avail. Deaf to the world, she dives into a larger group of zombies, slaughtering any and all that come within reach. I realize that someone is squeezing my hand tightly. It's the girl from the altar, nervously watching the battle unfold.
ごめん、意味わかんないよな。俺も本当にわからないんだけど。あの人は大丈夫だよ。ここにいるゾンビ全部より先生の方が強いと思う。今は動かない方がいい。
I let go of her hand. There's no telling what she might stumble into if we ran away. Better to stay here by the altar and wait for Miss Noel to finish her extermination. A chill runs up my spine. It's cold. I'm not just imagining it. I can actually feel the temperature plummeting. I look down to see frost forming on the floor. As the chamber grows colder, the zombies grow more and more agitated, almost as though they're afraid of something.
血だ。
Only now do I see it. The blood of the mangled zombies flows along the grooves in the floor, forming a sigil-like pattern, like a catalyst in a ritual to call forth some infernal demon.
ノエル先生
It isn't me who calls out, but the girl next to me. But her cry goes unheeded. The woman in the nun's habit, drunk and bloodless, is blind to everything but her prey.
未熟者止まりなさい周囲に注意を
Okay, so she also is an executor. Finally, she notices. Just in time for her and the zombie she was pursuing to be engulfed in the great ball of flame that burst out of the passageway.
ノエル先生！
It happens in an instant. A wall of blue fire blasts through her like a freight train. It's the same blue glow I saw at the hotel that consumed nothing but human flesh. But just as it's about to swallow her, it transforms into a crimson hand and drags her back towards the passageway it came from. There, in the doorway, stands a vampire. Vlav. The fiend who torched the hotel and drank the blood of its patrons. Once more, he clutches a helpless woman to his breast.
そう何これ聞いてないこれどこの何なのよ
She screams from within a prison of blue fire. The zombies around her have been reduced to ash, but she is unscathed. There's no mystery as to why. If her flesh burns, her warm blood will evaporate with it.
やめてやめてやめてやめて
Her screams fill the chamber. The inviting skin of her nape peeks through a tear in her habit. All I can do is watch as the vampire's fangs close over it from behind. My senses sharpen. Time freezes. I won't make it. I can't. They're too far away. Anyone, even the girl beside me, could see that it's a simple fact. Running to save her won't accomplish anything. By the time I get there, it'll all be over. I can't believe I'm saying this, but why would I abandon her? Come on. We all know. Alright, hold on a second. We need to make some decisions right now. No, I'm on the CL route. Even better. Okay. We're gonna try anyway. I can't just stand by and watch. The thought of a woman falling prey to a vampire galvanizes me. Although the reason is lost to time, that particular sight fills me with fury. My legs reflexively break into a sprint. Breathing becomes a secondary concern. Someone's fingers snatch at me, trying to hold me back, but they're too late. Before a single conscious thought enters my head, I'm running. But they're so far away, and my legs are so slow. The vampire's mouth splits apart like a carnivorous plant. From collarbone to nape, he clamps down on her like an enormous leech. Her body shudders. A sucking noise fills the air. Lifeblood being drained dry. The slurping of the vampire's vulgar feast echoes through my brain. And my mind shatters. This would be the second time. How dare you! How dare you! How dare you! I'll wipe you from the face of the earth, you walking corpse! Before I know it, I'm close enough to touch them. Vlad doesn't even register my presence. A single lowly human is far beneath his notice. He is focused solely on the woman in his arms, on slaking his thirst. Perfect. I take his left arm. It's not his life, but it'll do. His neck is too far, and the woman in his clutches blocks me from his heart, so I severed the arm holding her upright instead. She and the dead limb fall to the ground as one. Out of the corner of my eye, I see that she's still breathing. My impossible cut rekindles the vampire's awareness of the world around him. His remaining arm reaches to the side and swings down towards me. His reflexes are incredibly quick. Oh shit. But his attack is too crude. A merely human movement. He'll never catch me like that. I drop low, maintaining my momentum. His claws rake my hair as they pass overhead. It's too far to his neck. Not much closer to his chest. But there's nothing to stop me from plunging my knife into the line along his right flank. A spray of crimson blood that is not my own. It doesn't bisect him as I'd hoped, but it's a clean cut. Where my knife has passed, his flesh is truly dead. Barring some means of true resurrection, this would never heal. I can finish this. I dart around him, repositioning behind his back. He still doesn't understand exactly what I've done to him. My eyes can kill him, truly kill him, right here and now. A cold elation grips me. The chill rising in my legs sends shivers through my body. The screaming at my ankle tells me I'm alive. The next moment will decide everything. Now's the time.